The movie opens with a young man walking into a pawn shop. His name's Huck. He's tall, handsome, with a bad boy style. Huck needs to make some money fast, and he bargains to sell his brand new camera for a good price. He talks about the advantages of buying his camera and convinces the pawn shop owner to buy it, though not for the price he originally wanted. He also pawns his mother's ring for more money and promises to come back for it. Huck makes his living by playing poker at a casino in Las Vegas. He's one of the best players in the place, and everyone knows him, because he's always there. One day, after a break from playing, Huck meets a pretty girl. She has dark brown hair, bright green eyes, and a cute smile that immediately catches Huck's attention. Her name's Billie. A man is talking to her, and Billie looks uncomfortable. Huck comes to her rescue and starts flirting with her. Billie likes him right away. Besides being handsome, Huck knows how to flirt with a woman. The only issue is that Huck knows Billie's sister, Suzanne, and he prefers not to mingle with her family. Suzanne, noticing Billie is interested in Huck, warns her that Huck is a bad boy. He loves flirting, but he doesn't know what commitment means. Billie normally goes out with men she believes she can fix, so her interest in Huck only increases. Huck goes back to the casino to play more. He's having fun until his father, Elsie, shows up. Huck and Elsie don't have a good relationship, because Elsie is addicted to gambling and abandoned Huck as a kid. Huck still holds a grudge against him, and he despises being in the same environment as his father. Like his son, Elsie is also very good at poker. The only person he never managed to beat is Huck. That night, this score changes. Huck bets all win against Elsie, including his mother's ring at the pawn shop, and Elsie wins. Losing to his father hurts more than Huck cares to admit. It hurts his ego and pride. Huck storms out, feeling like a loser, while his father laughs. One of the patrons in the casino, a man named Roy, goes after Huck to ask him to play for him. He wants to participate in a poker tournament, and he wants Huck to play in his stead. Huck says no, because it's too much responsibility, and leaves. He visits his best friend Jack to borrow more money, but Jack denies him. Huck goes after Suzanne, but finds Billie instead. Suzanne isn't at home, so Huck complains that he needs money, asking her to lend it to him. Billie offers some money for him, but it isn't enough. When she mentions that she has more, though, Huck is immediately interested. Before they can continue their conversation, Billie receives a call about a singing gig, and she's very happy. Not one to lose an opportunity, Huck says they have to celebrate Billie's new job, and invites her to go to the casino with him. He spends all her money to buy poker chips, and they start playing. Billie doesn't know much about poker, so Huck has to teach her. In the first round, she accidentally shows the table that they have good cards, and everyone folds. Huck is a bit annoyed, and explains that she shouldn't express emotions, hence the name, Poker Face. Billie quickly understands, and from then on, they mostly win. Things are going great, and they have fun. Huck is surprised by how open and excited Billie is. Billie is amazed by Huck's ability at playing poker. She's also surprised when he mentions betting is what he does for a living. The mood sours when Elsie shows up with his current wife. He cracks some jokes about Huck's loss, and Billie quickly figures out they don't have a good relationship. She wonders if they are related, and Huck explains Elsie is his dad. After the encounter, Huck is quiet and somber. Billie decides it's time for her to go, and Huck gives her money back. He doesn't take her to the cashier, nor does he say goodbye to her. Billie is a bit hurt by his dismissal, but she brushes it off. She believes he's mad at his father, and that's why he's so cold to her. After the game, Huck goes to his childhood house. He rents the house to a businessman. He wants to borrow some money from the man, but he refuses. The camera Huck sold belonged to him, and he stole it. Huck is starting to get desperate. He wants to participate in the tournament, especially because he knows his father will be there too. Huck's dream is to beat his father and make him pay for all the hurt he made him and his mother go through. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have enough money for it. Later on, he goes to the bar where Billie is presenting. She has a soft, sweet voice that Huck enjoys. Billie is very surprised to see Huck there, especially after his brush off earlier. She's excited to see him. After her presentation, Huck invites her to dinner. They go to a Chinese restaurant, and before they can order anything, Billie asks for her fortune cookie. She wonders if Huck is superstitious, and he explains that believes in skill, not in luck, though she did give him good luck when they were playing together. After he left, he lost all the money. He reveals to Billie that he wants to participate in the tournament. He only needs the money. He's almost about to ask her to go play poker with him after dinner, but they are interrupted by another poker player who knows Huck. The man is in Las Vegas to play in the tournament too. It's amazing to Billie how seriously Huck takes poker. She doesn't judge him, though she enjoys messing with him when her fortune cookie arrives. She lies to him that her fortune is that she'll make a lot of money in a tournament. As the night wears on, they talk about Huck's father again. Elsie was an English teacher before he got addicted to gambling and sold everything they had in the house. Huck resents his father, but repeats his behavior, something Billie notices. He's also addicted to gambling, though he would never admit it to anyone. Billie also explains why she decided to sing in Las Vegas after her mother passed away. Her mother was a musician with a passion for country music. Billie started singing to pay homage to her. Huck takes Billie to a roof with a view of the city, and they watch it in silent contemplation. They don't need to talk to each other, just feel the moment. Huck notices Billie is cold and lends her his jacket. Billie feels her heart beat faster at his closeness. She smiles at him while staring deep into his eyes, and they finally kiss. Huck brings her to his mother's place since his tenant traveled for the week. The house is completely empty, with no furniture. Billie wonders why it's so empty, and Huck lies that he's remodeling the place. They sleep together for the first time that night. After Billie is peacefully sleeping, Huck stares at her wallet on the ground. He wonders if it would be worth it to steal from her, or use her money in the tournament. He steals from her and goes straight to the casino to play while she sleeps. In one of the games, Elsie shows up and warns Huck not to bet on a round. Huck smugly bets him that he will win, and he wants his mother's ring back. By the skin of his teeth, Huck wins the round. When he turns around, happy that he proved his father wrong, Elsie is nowhere to be seen. It's disappointing, because Huck wanted to see his face when he was mistaken. At least he left his mother's ring. As usual, Huck wins most of his hands, but then he can't stop playing, and ends up losing everything again. When he goes back home, Billie is leaving the house alone. As soon as she sees him, she wants to throttle him for stealing from her. Not only did he steal all the money that she spent months working to save, but he also used her. She figured out the only reason why Huck invited her on a date was to steal from her, because he knew she had the money. Huck tries to convince her he was only borrowing the money, but she doesn't want to hear it. She feels like a fool for trusting him. She was going to use that money to rent a place of her own. Huck feels bad about the way things ended. Billie is a sweet girl, and she doesn't deserve to be treated like that. Before she leaves, Billie throws $200 at Huck's face, accusing him of missing some money from her wallet. He uses this money to bet more. He manages to win most of the rounds, leaving only him and another guy playing. In the last round, the other player decides to go all in, right at the beginning. Huck accepts the challenge. He has the higher cards and starts the game winning. When the cards are drawn, Huck wins the round and a seat at the tournament, which is exactly what he wants. He feels triumph that he managed to get it by his own efforts, and sarcastically jokes with the other player. Unfortunately for Huck, when he's already leaving, the other player notices that the dealer made a mistake, so they have to draw another card. When the card is drawn, Huck loses to the other player. Once again, he loses everything because of greed. Huck is relentless, and he's not one to give up easily. He's determined to be part of the tournament and win. With no other option, he goes after Roy and accepts his deal of playing for him. This time, though, his share of the bill is smaller. Roy also lends him money to pay Billie. After talking to Roy, Huck goes straight to Billie's place. She doesn't answer the door, but he leaves the money with a sorry message behind. Billie watches him from a distance and goes after him when she sees that he paid her back. Huck apologizes again for his terrible behavior and pleads for another chance. Billie isn't as sure as she was before about Huck. Her sister warned her that he doesn't like commitment, and he stole from her. Not to mention the fact that he's addicted to gambling. At the same time, she had a great time with him, and he's nice when he's not obsessed with poker. In the end, after giving it some thought, she decides to give him another chance. They go on another date, this time at a coffee shop. Billie wonders why he likes to gamble so much, and Huck explains that he enjoys doing it. He doesn't bet for anything. He needs to be sure that he has a chance to win. Billie believes he's compulsive, but Huck disagrees. Like any addicted person, he firmly believes he can stop whenever he wants to. He doesn't see the pattern between him and his father, and how he's doing the same things. Elsie arrives at the coffee shop to talk to Huck. Billie goes to answer the phone, allowing the two of them some time alone. Elsie is worried about Huck, because he asked for Roy's help in the tournament. Roy isn't someone to be trifled with. Elsie sits with Huck to ask him a question about a poker round. It's one that he lost a few years back, and he wants to see how Huck does. Huck is correct in his analysis, much to Elsie's surprise. They start playing against each other, betting a lot of money. Huck uses the money Roy lent him for the tournament. He loses the first round, and goes again. He loses 3 more times, until he gets upset that he's losing his father again. Elsie wants him to stop playing, to understand when it's time to quit, but Huck can't. Billie comes back and watches the two of them playing. It's borderline obsessive, how much Huck wants to beat his dad. It's his biggest dream to show the older man that he's able to pay him back for all the pain he caused. Sadly, Huck has a long way to go. Elsie wins all his money. He tries to give it back to Huck, but he refuses to accept charity. He won, fair and square. Huck is obviously upset. Elsie advises him to be careful with the way he plays, because he always ends up losing. He needs to be able to recognize when he can't win, even if it hurts his ego. Huck leaves Elsie with Billie to catch some air. Elsie takes the money back. Huck finds another way to get his money back by betting on something else. He brings Billie with him, for good luck. The bet is a physical one. Huck has to complete some challenges to win the money, and he eagerly does it. Despite the oddness of the date, Billie has fun. Huck spends 3 hours going through the challenges, and in the end, he almost gets it. He even celebrates. Sadly, he loses because of 2 seconds. Now he owes more money to another person, and he still doesn't have the money he needs for the tournament. Huck is frustrated with himself, and ends up taking it out on Billie. He questions why she didn't cheat to help him out. Billie realizes that Huck is never going to change. He's obsessed with winning and betting, to the point of no return. She can't save him, because he doesn't want to be saved. That leaves her with no other option but to stop seeing him before things move further. Huck is surprised when she informs him that she doesn't want to see him anymore. Never once did he think that she would leave him. He loses the money and the girl, all in one day. Later on, while he's at home thinking about a solution for his problem, two bulky guys come in without asking. They were sent by Roy to scare Huck. Roy wants his money back, or Huck will face the consequences. The guys beat him up a little and leave him there. With no place else to go, Huck goes after Billie. Suzanne is the one to answer the door. Suzanne and Huck were once in a relationship, but things didn't work out between them. Billie isn't home, but Suzanne feels sorry for Huck and helps him out. She explains that Billie went back to their hometown for a few days to cool down. She really likes Huck, but he's a mess that she isn't willing to take on. Suzanne believes Huck is finally paying for his mistakes, and Huck agrees. He finally reached rock bottom, and there's no one else to help him come up for air. He pushed everyone away with his gambling. In the beginning, he thought he would never hurt anyone with his addiction. Now he understands that he hurt Billie. The next day, Huck goes back to the casino and meets his father there. He sells his mother's wedding ring to Elsie for $500 and starts playing. It's his last chance to get his money back. This time he plays safe, following Elsie's advice. At the end of the day, he gets his money back to play at the tournament. Before the big day, he goes after Billie. Out of all the things he did wrong, he regrets hurting her the most. He wants to make amends and get her back. Billie is surprised to see him there. She never thought he would try to win her back again. Huck wants to be with her. He hopes she can give him a second chance. Billie doesn't say anything. She's afraid of giving him another chance, only to be disappointed again. Huck understands her silence as a denial of her feelings for him and leaves. The day of the tournament arrives. It's a 5-day competition with 800 players, and a very big prize for the winner. It's the first time Huck can play, and he's excited. Elsie won it twice. Billie is back at her sister's house, and Suzanne tries to see how her feelings are regarding Huck. Billie doesn't want to talk about him, and brushes her off. For the next few days of the tournament, Huck plays very well. Huck is a finalist, and he's playing against his father again. This time, he follows his advice and plays with parsimony. Elsie notices it. After the game, everyone reunites with their families and friends to celebrate. But Huck's alone. He has never felt so lonely as he does at that moment. He misses Billie and wishes things were different between them. Sadly, he messed their relationship up too. Billie isn't happy about it either. She knows Huck is a complicated man, and she's afraid he's going to hurt her terribly, as his father did to his mother. She misses him a lot, though, and keeps thinking about him at night. The last day of the tournament arrives, much to Huck's excitement and nervousness. He continues playing safe, different from the way he usually does. The game's hard, and many people are disqualified. Elsie wins a round with a very rare hand, and everyone is shocked. Things start getting more real for Huck, but he's still in the game. After a break, Elsie goes after Huck in the restroom. Huck compliments his play during the game, and Elsie explains that sometimes, things happen. He believes it is his turn to win the tournament again. And he wants to, because of his legacy. If he wins again, he will go into the poker book with the most winnings. Huck believes that now that he's playing against Elsie, karma will define the game. Elsie has to pay for his mistakes eventually, and it would be poetic if his own son beat him in the game that destroyed their family. Elsie wants to know why Huck can't forgive him, when his mother did. Huck doesn't think his mother ever forgave his father, but Elsie explains that she did, right before she passed away. He had stolen her wedding ring from her, to gamble, and returned it after years. Huck's mother gave it back to him when she was sick, along with her forgiveness. Huck never knew that his father went to see his mother. He thought he didn't regret anything. After all, he was married again and living a good life. Elsie needs Huck's forgiveness, just like he needed his mother's. Huck doesn't know if he's ready to forgive him, especially not since he never did anything to deserve it. In the next round, Huck has a lot of luck, and manages to send another player home. Billie shows up at the game, eager to give her support to Huck. After a few days separated from him, she decided she'll give him another chance to see where their relationship goes. Another round comes, and Huck plays against his father. It's a tough game, but he's certain he can win. They go all in the end, and Huck notices his father is nervous. When his father shows his cards, Huck knows he will win the round. His father will lose and go home. In a moment, Huck smirks in triumph. He finally got to do what he has always wanted to do. When he sees his mother's ring on the table, though, he realizes his father is old. It's his last shot at winning the tournament, with his legacy behind him. Huck could take it all out from under him. It would hurt and humiliate Elsie. Before he can do any of that, though, Huck decides to take the high road. He finishes in third place, and he will get some money from that position. It's not the jackpot, but it's good enough. He will keep playing, and come back as many times as he can, and maybe one day he can beat his father's legacy. Huck folds, and Elsie wins. Elsie is very happy and grateful to Huck. His son accepts his thanks, and gives him his forgiveness. In the last round, though, Elsie goes all in again, and loses to a young man who is playing for the first time. Huck can't believe it. He feels the loss as deeply as he would feel if it was him. When he's leaving, Elsie goes after him. He wants to know if his son truly gave up his game for him. Huck doesn't admit to anything, though it's implied he did it because he believed it was his father's time to win. They were both wrong. Elsie decides to offer Huck another chance of beating him, fair and square. They play like they once did when Elsie taught Huck to play. It's fun and not uncomfortable as it was before. Huck never meets Billie. Later on, he visits her when she's singing at the bar again. Billie immediately sees him, and her heart lurches with excitement. She didn't talk to him at the tournament because she wanted to see if he would come after her, after almost winning. She's very happy to see that he did. They go outside to talk in private. She wonders about the tournament, and he vaguely says that he won and he lost. Billie straightaway asks if he allowed his father to win, and Huck is surprised. No one has ever been able to read him like Billie. Only his father realized he let him win. Billie is a special kind of girl, one that he should treasure and love more than the poker chips he's so fond of. If he stands by her, she'll be loyal and kind to him. Huck wants that in his life. He doesn't want to live a half-life anymore. He doesn't want to come to an empty house or lose money for nothing. He wants to be happy, like his father. He wants to have that with Billie. They finally kiss passionately, sealing their fate. Huck doesn't know what is going to happen in his future, but he's betting on his relationship with Billie.